here to try to share some stories about my life and hope that you find some happiness in my telling you the stories. There are several catastrophic events that happened to me, and what I've learned in my travels is that after each event, something positive has happened. So I try to remember the positive and let the negative go. And I'm hoping you identify with this and that the same will happen with you. I think I had a long love affair with a man called Norman Mailer. Any of you ever heard of him?
Mm-hmm.
He was a writer and Pulitzer Prize winner. And he would say to me, I'd say to him, Norman, stop treating me like an object. And he said, but you've been one all your life. I thought, really? That was so insulting. But then I thought about it, and it was true. I was in a movie called Stepford Wives. I was one of the wives. And anybody remember that?
Yeah, a long time ago.
What was the Stepford wife? Who knows?
Just remember the name. It was on television too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they were robots, right? Remember?
Mm-hmm.
And how did they get to be robots? Their husbands murdered them. And why did they murder them? Because they wanted them to do their cooking and their cleaning and be their slaves. And they were objectified by men, which is what I, in fact, was in life. I had been a supermodel, and I chose to be that because when in the 70s, there wasn't that much we could do to make money, and I was good at it, and I found that was one way I could make have a good career. But I think I'm going to start with when I was married to a man called Ron Mallory, who was a sculptor. He was known for kinetic sculptures, and he did a painting in the Twin Towers of the Andrea Doria, which, sad to say, is not there anymore. And he had a lot of collectors like the Rockefellers and the Aga Khan and the King of Spain. And I was in love with him, and his mother taught him if he could have one rich friend or a poor one, he'd have a rich one. So that's what we went through life. He had a lot of rich friends and famous, and they were collectors of his art. So we were together for about 4 or 6 years, and we'd summer in Saint-Tropez every summer as I do modeling. And one summer I was coming out of the water in what they wore bullet belts in those days on a bikini, and Ron was talking to a rather large man who looked familiar, and I went up to them. He said, "This is Sam Spiegel. Does anybody remember Sam Spiegel?" No, he produced Bridge on the River Kwai, African Queen, and what's the other one? Lawrence of Arabia. He's a very talented producer. So he was looking at me, and Ron, we knew in Saint-Tropez he had the biggest yacht. Now in Saint-Tropez, which is, anybody know Saint-Tropez? It's next to Cannes in the south of France. And what you did for a game was you found out who owned the boats. You didn't look for beautiful men or women or famous people. You looked for owners of the boats. So we knew that Sam owned what's called the Melanie. It was a 110-foot yacht. So my ex-husband said to Sam, "We love your boat." He said, "Would you like to come on a cruise with us tomorrow to Corsica?" We said, "Absolutely." So that's how, 6 in the morning, the next morning, we went to port and were guests of Sam Spiegel on a cruise to Corsica, which was about 8 days. So the first stop was in a place called Saint-Jean-Cap-Ferrat. Anybody heard of that? No, that's next to Saint-Tropez. Saint-Tropez is next to Cannes, and it's on the Mediterranean. And Saint-Jean-Cap-Ferrat is very, very posh. So a man came out of the water and extended his hand, and he said, "Hi, I'm Kirk Douglas." Well, he was really nice. How many remember Kirk Douglas?
Yeah.
Any movies? Spartacus, right?
Oh yeah, that was.
Well, he was really nice, and he came on board, and he showed us the boat. He had been there before, and he showed us the master bedroom. And in the master bedroom, he showed us a two-way mirror. He said, "Look at this," and he showed. because Sam was a naughty man. Sam was a playboy. And this was a two-way mirror. So Kirk showed us that and giggled, and then we went off to another port at Portofino, and there we met David Niven. Anybody remember him?
Oh, yes.
Any movies you remember he was in?
Oh, that's a lot. One time he was a crook. I mean, he was stealing jewelry and stuff.
Yes.
So I saw a lot of his movies.
He was good, wasn't
Yes.
he? Anyway, he was coming down with Lou Gehrig's disease, and he had a wife named Yordis, and she was lovely, and she got to make up. He had lost his graces at that point. He was not the ebullient person he was known to be. It was very sad. So he came on board, and then we went off to Corsica. Now this was our mystery guest. We were going there, and we weren't told why. So my ex-husband and I went down to the portal in our bedroom and got out our Super 8. We were told the guests were coming, and we looked out the window, and sure enough, there was a 30-foot little dinghy with 3 people on board, a little boy and an older man and a woman with a battered straw hat, and it was Princess Grace, Prince Rainier, and Albert. And they came on board, and that was our mystery guest. And the whole reason for the cruise was that Sam had bought the book Nicholas and Alexandra. Remember that?
Yeah.
And he wanted Grace to play Alexandra. But she didn't want any part of Hollywood anymore, so she said no to it. But that was the reason for our cruise, to entice her to play this part. So they get on board, and now Sam was a millionaire. But I learned in my travels with the rich and famous that money doesn't guarantee self-esteem or fame. It does maybe ego, but not self-esteem. So Sam didn't know what's called protocol. Protocol is how you how do you sit the royal family with 8 people? He didn't know. So what did he do? He yelled, oh, and Grace went, oh, no, she doesn't like yelling. So Prince Rainier came to he said, don't worry, Sam, I'll sit next to Carole. So that's how I got Prince Rainier by my side. So what do I say to a prince? I said, so what sign are you? And he said, well, I'm a Gemini. And I said, what sign are you? And he said, I'm a Capricorn. No, I said I'm a Capricorn, and he said he's a Gemini. And I said, not only am I a Capricorn, but I'm from Philadelphia. And Grace said, so am I. And I said, I know. And I said, I taught school in Lower Marion. She said, I'm from near there. And I said, I know. She said, Sam, I'm glad to see you have some class on your boat instead of that Hollywood riffraff. So we had a lovely lunch, and then after lunch, I went up on the top deck. Does anybody speak French at all, a little? Well, there's a saying, I did push-ups at her feet. We had had a lot of wine. And I said, je suis mal élevée, which means I am badly raised, which pertains to heritage and lineage, but not a push-up on a deck of a boat. So she laughed at my bad joke. And I felt like I had a sister I had never really had. She was just lovely. So when she died, Prince Rainier wrote a letter to me. Where is that letter? Chris, do you see the letter?
I don't.
Here it is.
There we go.
You can read it. I'll pass it around if you want to see the crest, and a letter from Prince Rainier. You may enjoy that.
Excuse me, Carole. You might be interested in knowing that Princess Grace's first cousin is one of our residents.
I heard that, and thought he was maybe going to come hear me speak. What's his name?
Bob.
He's a friend of yours.
Oh, yes. Bob and his wife Lenore.
I wish they were here. Well, I'd really love to meet them.
His father and Grace's father are brothers.
Really? Really? Well, anyway, sad she's not with us, and that's from Prince Rainier. Herbert, where are you going? Herbert. Herbert, there's no talk without you. Come on, boy. Come on.